And then you won't even believe what happened next. The doctor started chewing on the leg, saying the leg meat attached to the bone, super tender. And I agreed with him on that.
Anyways.
I wonder how much chip crunch you're going to get in the recording audio.
I don't know. Let's see. People are going to hate me if
it's going to be an ASMR. Hell yeah.
Ooh, that's a spike. Ooh, that'll be gross. Sorry.
You should see if you get more spike if there's spiciness on it. I got slurpage on it. That's gross. Ooh. Nobody's here to listen to slurpage.
A little bit of that went to the back of my throat.
Nice.
The green sauce is pretty spicy too.
It is, compared to like other green sauces that I've had at other places.
Mm-hmm.
It's good though.
Oh yeah.
Do you keep like a regular database of your green sauces?
I'm pretty well versed in hot sauces actually now.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you watch a lot of hot ones? Sean Evans, shout out.
I had the last dab, like the sauce at the end that they take.
Oh.
It is very hot, but it also tastes good, which is like one of the nice things about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of times you don't get
it's only
the
like
best
20,
of both worlds.
It's only like $20 for a bottle, I think. But the one called like Atomic Bomb or whatever, it's like the second to last one. I heard that one's garbage because it's just hot and it doesn't have any flavor.
Yeah, I've been watching a few like Hot Ones episodes recently, and what they say is that like that one with the atomic bomb on it it either doesn't have flavor or it tastes bad.
Yeah, it's just
and that makes everything
acid.
Worse. Yeah, exactly.
So no me gusta.
Wait, can you describe like the effect that it had after you had the hot sauce
of last dab?
Yeah, like when you had it, did you feel like
I definitely started sweating because it was hot.
Naturally.
Did you actually douse the wing, or did you just put like a little drop?
I didn't have it on chicken wings. I had it on like the little taquito things from 7-Eleven.
Oh, nice.
And my friend, he just had a bottle of it. He was like, "Let's just try eating it with this." And I said, "Okay," and it tasted good.
Nice.
So I do want to try it on. I think it would be really good if you mix it in with cooking chicken or something like that in smaller doses. Obviously, maybe.
I feel like with hot ones though, it's like they cover the entire wing in that sauce.
I don't know how they do it in hot ones though.
And then some of them, like, they have the guest actually put the sauce on them themselves.
That's a thing, right? That's the last one they have to dab it.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
But I mean, like, every wing in between, they also give them the option of putting more on top. But I don't know if it's just a clean wing that they have and then they put the sauce on it, or if it's like, you know how B-dubs with their dry wings will kind of bake the sauce into it.
That's true.
I don't know if it's like that.
Ooh. I feel as if they're hot. They probably don't bake them in. Would you ever do hot ones if you could?
You know, because I like to think I can handle my spicy foods.
I would bitch out.
And judging by my ability to eat the last dab, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, but that's after like an entire marathon of eating hot sauces.
That's cool.
I like the Bill Burr philosophy on it. So it's about being so manly that you've bought into this whole thing of like, oh, I don't want to look like a bitch if I back out. But in a sense, you know, it's not the best thing to act like you're too good to, like you're taking on this suffering voluntarily, even though you know it's more suffering than it's probably beneficial to take on. But you bought into the whole philosophy that it's like, oh, I don't want to look like a bitch.
So it's just proving a point?
It's just proving a point at that point.
I guess. Well, if you really wanted to do that, you could just take like a spoonful of pure capsaicin, which is the chemical that makes it spicy. Because you can buy that. There's videos of people on YouTube that are just taking like a spoonful, which is not recommended.
Why would anyone do that?
I don't know. But there's some old dude who handles it like a champ, but I'm pretty sure that would like irreversibly damage your taste buds or something if a regular person tried to do that.
I saw like a hot pepper eating contest from like Argentina where like the two winners ate like a Carolina Reaper or some shit like that. And they just ate the goal was to eat as many as you could before like one person lost. Or one person cashed out. They both just ate 4 of them.
Oh man!
And then they both won. I was just like, what the fuck?
I do at some point want to try a ghost pepper, like a raw ghost pepper. Maybe not a Carolina Reaper because that's hotter, I think, right?
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. I think it's fun. I like spicy foods. I've eaten habaneros and like had no issue with it.
Yeah, it's not so bad on the front end, but on the back end, it's pretty rough.
When you say back end, do you
mean
it's
coming out of your butthole? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay, that's
exactly,
what I would expect.
Yeah.
Explicitly
comes out nuclear.
When it's coming out your butthole.
So in the character of things that would haunt you after doing it for years to come, and explicitly your butthole for this
spicy butthole.
The topic for today are moments that still haunt you. I completely believe that eating a hot pepper would haunt your memories for the foreseeable future.
Depending on how hot it is, I think. Oh yeah, by the way, welcome to episode 20 of the Actually Nothing podcast. You still
20,
don't know
baby.
when I hit that record button. So.
I have no idea when you hit the record button. It's just at will sometimes.
Could be.
Aaron hides behind his screen, and I'd never know when he presses the record button, so we could be mid-sentence. It could be
I'm
now
the
when it
record
happens.
master. Yeah.
Well, he introduced the episode, so we know at least now we're recording.
Yes, at some point I will record that. But I like to have a nice buffer of random little talks in between to make it seem like that walk-in, you know?
Think of it like this. It's like when you're a child, you have no recollection of when you actually gain consciousness. Just these like smattering of memories that show that you had it at certain points. That's how the podcast is like.
Oh my gosh.
You don't
dude.
really start feeling
That's
conscious
too much,
until
man.
it happens.
I wasn't ready for that. That was actually crazy. That's true.
But yes, you are correct. The topic of the day is C. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's memories that haunt you or memories that continue to haunt you, because I have a lot of things that I sometimes think about at night when I'm trying to go to bed, and I can't go to bed because they keep invading my brain space.
Yeah, and I feel like oftentimes they're really embarrassing, or they're just like, I think the worst are the ones where you've missed opportunities and you look back and you go,
Those are no god, ow. Yes, those are the worst.
Aaron hit his head on the.
Yeah, there's a treadmill behind me.
We have a very versatile recording space.
Yes, what you guys don't see is that we're all on different workout equipment while recording this. Dan's currently on a bench, JP's on said treadmill, and I am sitting.
Well, see, what you don't know is I'm able to keep this type of cadence with my voice while also running at 8 miles an hour for the entirety of this podcast.
Oh, look, he's
Yes.
bumping it up. He's 10 miles an hour,
10.
12 miles an hour.
I'm
Wow.
telling you, I can
You're
just
at
do
14 now?
it. 14. I'm raising the incline to at least 10 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah.
All while keeping the same
I have
level of voice.
I have a resting heart rate of at least 20, and so
What a Chad. Once you hit 20, that means you're a true Chad.
chew Chad,
I'm going to have fun cutting out all this chomping in my mouth.
chomp. I feel like you just-
food air tomorrow.
I feel like you just have to own it. You slurped a few times in the beginning of this episode too. That's really uncalled for.
Ooh, have you seen that video of the guys who do Flight of the Bumblebee, and they have like 100 different bottles,
Yes.
and they just keep running along with it and go.
For some reason, I was aggravated watching it. I was kind of like,
Because they weren't on time, but I
yeah,
think they didn't have enough people to keep it in time.
but also there's the sense that like, at some point there had to be like people drinking all of that beer in the house to create an entire like spectrum of notes like that.
It was like 100 something bottles, so
Oh yeah, some degeneracy.
Yeah,
who's
it's
to
just,
say it was full of beer? It could have just been leftover water. Or
it's
like
more of the
urine.
fact that that many beers were actively participating in that room, you know?
Between three people, we
Yeah.
can do that right now.
I mean, I'm on my
We have
treadmill. I've got
two
like
right
at
now.
least 15 beers in my hands.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fucking Chad.
fine. Are we gonna hop right into it? Do we want to just fire them off the different situations that or memories that you've had?
As they come, I think, you know, after that really riveting conversation about capsaicin and hot peppers, I think it's, you know, a very easy segue into this.
Well, with the peppers, I remember the feeling of the hotness from the habanero that I ate.
Really?
Yeah,
Does
I
it-
didn't like tear up or anything, but I do distinctly remember coughing up a lung, and that kind of hurt. But other than
Aaron,
it's
that
fine.
kind of hurt coughing up a lung, portante.
Yeah, it tasted good. I actually surprisingly liked the pepper and the crunch, so that's why I'm thinking a ghost pepper might be. Well, actually, ghost peppers are also several magnitudes hotter than a habanero.
Yeah.
Is it habanero or habanero?
I think it's habanero
Because it has
with the tilde.
The tilde.
Oh, if it's got the tilde, then yeah, it's Niero.
Tilde is the squiggly thing, right?
Yeah.
Then what's the name of just the little carrot at the top? Is there a name for that?
Accent.
Is that it? Accent?
Yeah, if it's like a single line going in a direction, it's a carrot. Or no, it's an accent.
Like it just looks like an apostrophe that's above the letter.
Oh, I think that's just an accent.
Oh.
I don't know, man. It might just be an apostrophe.
I've forgotten everything I've learned in Spanish.
So do you have any like what are like the moments that sit in your head at night when you like you're trying to sleep and you know you can't sleep because this like you're just reminded of this horrible, embarrassing or just horribly like awkward memory? Do any come to mind for you?
I do have one. Do you have one, Dan? that you can think
Trying
of?
to think of one.
It can be really menial too. It doesn't have to be like, oh God, my life would have been a totally different place if this did or did not happen.
Yeah.
Because like
I
I've
have
had
to
thoughts
think of
about
it.
before where I was like, it was kind of, I guess, more of a call of the void type thing where I'm like, if I took a left right now, I would be dead.
Yeah.
And that's like a thought that I've had before that sticks. But that's like a whole nother can of worms to open up.
Wow.
That's different. We could talk about it at some point, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you got?
Mine
Yeah.
is the first one that I constantly think about is it's kind of there's two similar stories, but the first one is there's two actors in this. There's me
Okay.
and there's a girl. Yes.
Okay.
We'll call, for the sake of not doxing said person, let's call this person.
Dan.
Yes, this person's yeah.
Dan.
The girl's name is Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Danielle.
Sure. Danielle.
Okay.
So for like 2 years, I had a huge crush on Dan. Right? This feels so weird saying that when you're.
Well, it's abbreviation for Danielle.
Sure. Yeah,
so-
we'll say that.
Huge crush on Dan, you said.
Yeah. So I have this huge crush on Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny, maybe
and-
Danny.
Don't fight it.
Stop trying to bend this, Dan. Not talking about this Dan, by the way. But so yeah, I have this huge crush on Dan, and Dan goes to the gym a lot, right?
Okay.
And
Mhm.
after
Oh yeah.
after volleyball practice for club, Dan would pop into the gym every so often just to say hi to all the other people, and of course I'm there to say hi as well because obviously I have a crush on this person, and if they're walking through the door, all eyes go to them, right?
Mm.
But I was at a locker and I was getting stuff out because they have these little small lockers in one of the gymnasiums that are there, and a lot of people just throw their stuff in there. And Dan had their stuff in there too. So I was in the gymnasium first, and I was going to get stuff out of my locker. The locker that I actually had my stuff at was like at the bottom row. But before I went to go get my stuff, Dan came into the gym and said, "Oh hey, what's up?" And of course, I want to talk to Dan, right? Because I have a huge crush on Dan while I'm looking at Dan. But instead of me doing the actual thing that I meant to do, which was to get my stuff from the locker that was at the bottom row, I just randomly open the locker that's in front of me and start pretending to sift through items that are
Dude.
in an empty locker. So
Oh,
I'm
boy.
just there's the locker door opens up and it's like in between me and Dan, right?
Oh yeah.
But if you were on my left side, you would clearly see that nothing's in this locker, and I'm just moving my hands around and making it seem like I'm trying to like look for something because I was just trying to find an excuse to be like, oh yeah, I'll just spend a couple minutes here and like find an excuse to talk to you, right?
Mm.
But I didn't have anything, and I knew my stuff was below, but I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, whoops, wrong locker, and then go down. So I just spent like 30 seconds just like
30 seconds.
like
That's
probably
it.
just pretending to be like, oh yeah, and like pretending to check my phone and wallet, even though there was nothing
You
in that
committed
locker.
to it.
I did. I had to commit to the
Yeah,
bit.
you could have played to it.
Yeah,
you
but then I mean, the
played it
entire
off.
time I was having the conversation with Dan, so it was like, yeah, I came out net positive in that one, but when I think about it, I'm like, God, you're such a fucking dork.
I thought that was gonna go somewhere else. Like
What?
I thought that they were gonna see you and call you out on your bullshit.
I thought you were sifting through their belongings.
Oh no,
That would've been
God.
awesome.
It was just like it was like a random unlocked locker. That
Okay.
would be weird if I did that.
And they happen to like, oh, you got the wrong locker there. But
Yeah, no.
Wow. I've never done that. I've never committed so hard to like,
It was such
something
a-
like that.
God, it was such like a sitcom rom-com like scenario that I can't believe. And then after they left and I said bye, I looked down at the empty locker and I was like, God, you're such a fucking loser. I can't believe you did this. But that's one of the things that I constantly think about. I'm like,
Wow.
I think nobody else who knew me was right next to me while I was doing that to see that I was totally bullshitting just to have an excuse to talk to Dan. So yeah.
I like to imagine how I would have acted in that situation if I were next to Aaron. Rather, like I probably would have helped.
Would just
you.
tap me on the shoulder and be like, yeah, there's nothing in there.
Hey, dude, are you okay?
Just expose me in the middle of that.
You're searching through an empty locker. Feel like nothing's in there.
Mm-mm. Can't do that.
I think I've got one that's a little like it's just kind of silly,
Mm-hmm.
but I think about it frequently since it happened. A couple weeks ago, I was at the gym and I'm like, going hard. I'm just having a fun time. I've got my headphones on. Nobody's bothering me. I'm just like in my own world. I'm going hard on bench press, and I'm going a little too hard at bench press, and I kind of like I
Poop yourself?
No, I don't poop myself, but I let a very audible fart out, and so I immediately rack, and I go, oh shit! Take my headphones out, and I look around to see if anyone's looking around.
So if anyone did see it,
Well, and here's the
look
thing,
more
did it
guilty.
feel like it was loud?
Yes, it was definitely loud because I could hear it from my headphones. And so my cursory scan of my surroundings was to see if everyone had their headphones in, because if so, there's like a chance that everything is fine.
Yeah.
I saw one girl like right in front of me, no headphones. I was like,
Did she look behind her right at you?
no, I made sure that I didn't like put my eyes anywhere near her, so that if we did meet eyes, it just never would have happened.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
But there was some dude who walked past me too. I was just hoping that it wouldn't smell. Like, I was trying to do damage control in that moment. I was like, if this smells, like
You
I gotta
wafted it
defer.
at least, you know?
Were the people around you like regulars that you knew went there pretty often?
Yeah, that's
I don't know. There's some fucking randos.
That's when I would be worried, because there are people at the gym that I go to that I know go there pretty often.
Oh
So
yeah.
if I did something embarrassing around them, they would probably recognize me at this point.
Mm.
That sucks.
Dude, that's when you start going super hard on your bench press and try to waft with the motion of your bench press. Be like, oh.
Or just be like one of those guys that screams really hard when they're doing a pump, and so you mask the sound of your fart next time.
Can I also talk about something that doesn't really haunt me, but I think about it frequently,
Okay.
and it's not even a personal experience. There's this guy at the gym. He calls
farts a lot.
No, that's me. He calls himself. I think his name is like. It's like the Mamba or something like that. I don't know.
Kobe.
Oh, rip.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Anyways, he's in the gym. He's always rapping at himself, just like aggressively
Like
rapping
spitting
at himself.
bars.
Yeah, spitting bars to himself with headphones on. I don't know if these are his own lyrics or if they're somebody else's lyrics.
Are they good?
No, they're bad. In fact, like I don't think any of them are actually intelligible. They don't really have direction.
Maybe
It's
he's a
just
mumble
like-
rapper.
Maybe
Mumble rapper,
He's
yeah.
saying a bunch of words though, so he's not really mumbling. He's definitely articulating very well because I can understand him. But the problem is that he's doing it super loud all the time. He's lifting like not very much weight,
5
but
pounds.
and so you have to imagine it's this really big guy. He's running around. He's like sometimes punching the air. He's sometimes like lifting really fast, and then he's like, got that pussy on a fucking bitch, and he's just like going at it, and it's like, what?
You should ask him for his mixtape.
Dude, he one time showed up to an event that Ryan and I were attending. Ryan is one of my friends, and he showed up. It was like some talent show thing or like an open mic. He came from the gym, had his own like mixtape set up and ready, turned on the mixtape, proceeded to kind of rap with his own mixtape, and then he left after taking 15 egg rolls. It was crazy.
That's it.
Yeah, it was
15 egg rolls.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know what his deal is, but he's been there forever.
You should ask him for his name at least and be like, hey, I noticed you're a regular. And then lay a fat beat for him and be like, yo, I know you can hit this right now.
I know you got this, dude. But this the last time I heard him rapping, he was doing like tricep pull downs while rapping something incredibly vulgar, and I was like, what is prompting
Like he
this?
doesn't care at all about the people around him hearing.
No,
this.
not at all.
Was
I
this at the UFC gym?
No,
MMA gym?
that one hasn't even opened yet. This is
Okay.
at the DePaul gym.
The DePaul gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody complained about this.
I feel as if people have talked about it, but he's kind of like he's become like an amenity of the gym. You get to see him, and it's kind of like, oh, it's this guy again. Yeah. Like
Maybe
oh,
he's supposed to raise morale for everyone around him so that they work out a little bit harder.
I mean, when I'm around him, I don't know if I work out harder as much. I just feel confused. I don't know whether or not I should stay in the area or leave the area.
Does it seem like he's like targeting his raps at somebody? like if you're just on the bench and he just walks up and he's like, yo, fuck you, you a little pussy bitch. And you're like, I can't tell if you're rapping on beat or if you're just yelling at me.
Or like
He's
rapping
laying down
at
a
me or
diss track
around me.
in real time.
Oh, he's the real-time diss track. That's a really good idea.
Real Time Diss Track is a great rapper name.
That's like a really good idea.
And if you decide to pursue a rapping career, you should call yourself Real Time Diss Track.
Let's go,
Dude, that's a great idea. RTDT.
Hey.
R2D2.
RTD. Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah, the initial
Dude. Oh, dude.
You gotta get that copyright on it before somebody steals it after listening to this.
I feel like if we were to ever open like a YouTube like ideas channel. That would be the first one. It's like, imagine that long list of things that we had written a long time ago.
Yeah.
For a preface for everybody listening to this, we kept a long list of bad ideas. So the first of which included the inconvenience store, where everything inside the store is like either broken inside the bag.
Yeah.
We had some other really bad ones.
Included Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's,
Trader
like
Joe's.
Traitor.
Like lots
Joe's.
of treason goes on.
Yeah, like
that store.
duplicitous Joseph sort of thing. We also had, what was that other
The
stupid one, Peter
bipolar
one?
bear.
Yeah, bipolar bear.
That's a good, but that one actually got made into a YouTube thing.
Really? That's an
yeah.
actual thing?
The bipolar bear got made. We got Bud Lightyear. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a thing too.
That has to be.
We have to create our own pop star, Lana Del Razorblades.
That's a good one. Yeah, Lana Del Razorblades.
Classic.
I think another really bad one that we came up with was like, no, Peter came up with a stupid shit one. It was like paradox, like pair of docks for boats, paradox, like Paradox, and then a parrot ox.
Paradox.
Yeah, and he's like, JP, check this out. He named 3 things in a row, and he's like, on the list. And I'm like, no. But so I feel like that would be the content of that.
It's
YouTube
more like
channel.
a list of like shitty puns that we decided to make into something than anything else.
Yeah, but we haven't really added it. We haven't added to it in a long
Does
time.
somebody have an actual
a
document
copy
for
of it? I think Peter lost the list.
He always loses stuff. We gotta document this stuff.
Emphasis on Peter lost the list.
Yeah, freaking Peter.
Yeah, I know. He'll never listen to this, so he won't hear us be mad at him.
We're throwing him
Under the bus.
Yeah,
That's right.
There you go.
That's our first one of today. Amazing.
In that episode, though, I used that thing like 15 times.
That's a
We were throwing a lot of people on the bus.
That's a hilarious episode. I loved listening to it.
Is it on YouTube already?
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere you get your podcast.
We're trying to make it a haunting memory, Dan.
Yeah.
Like the topic that we have it.
Dan, have any haunting memories?
Haunting memories. Yeah, I was listening to the previous podcast. And I just was kind of I was haunted by how freaking dumb I sound.
Oh man.
But
So do you also hate the sound of your recorded voice?
It's not so much the sound of my recorded voice, but the content of which
okay.
that I'm talking about. So that and the combination with maybe my recorded voice, but maybe that's just me being a little too hard on myself because
Yes.
you're
Don't worry, I hate the sound of my recorded voice still, and I've been listening to it over and over again.
When I listen to my own voice on podcasts, I always listen to how dumb my voice sounds and then how many stutters I make. That's something that I
What
just
about
do
the
all
content
time.
of what you're saying? You're at least, feeling like you have some respectable content that you're spitting out.
I guess I'm always critical about it. I'm like, that was a stupid thing to say. There was one podcast that haunts me actually.
That we did?
To steal your thunder, where we were arguing about something and I was sure that I was correct. And then I listened to it and I'm like, Dan's right.
Oh yeah.
I'm wrong. Like, I'm not above it. I know I'm wrong. But I think about that sometimes. I'm like, that's on the air now. Like, that's there to be seen by somebody else. My failure as an argumentative tactic. You know?
I tried to cut out some of the ums and uhs and likes, and God damn it. But I tried to make sure that there's no, like awkward pauses in between.
No, like awkward.
One of the things that I do notice
pauses.
that is a thing that happens a lot between not just us, but everyday speakers. I think it's a Midwestern thing is people go, no, yeah. Or they go,
Oh, I hate
Yeah,
that.
no. Yeah, no.
So yeah, no, yeah.
So I
do that a
know
lot.
I know I do it, but I don't really have control over it. So what am I supposed to do?
Does that haunt you?
A little bit. Whenever I think too hard about the way I speak, I feel like it starts to force me to speak too properly. Like when you're trying to nail us for not using prepositions.
Oh, I'm always doing that.
We haven't
Yeah.
screwed that up so far.
You did a
So-
few times before. I just chose not to say
Okay.
it.
Well,
And the
you're supposed to
who and
call
the
us out on
whom.
that. You're
I'm
the
not-
grammar Nazi in that
I
case.
don't want to be a Nazi after being in
You're
Germany.
haunting us for that.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
You gotta
Every
bust
waking
out
moment.
the proper usage of whom sometime this podcast.
Whomstva?
Whom.
I know that. I told you that, right?
It's like him and her.
Who is he and her, and then whom is him and wait, I screwed that up.
Yes. No, you're right. It's like
He and she. Who is he and she? Whom is him or and
her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you always use whom when it's about somebody who's either going somewhere or somebody who's situated on top of something. So like, to whom am I speaking on top of the chair? That person is on top of the chair, or on whom am I standing? Like you're on somebody, and then
Almost more
to whom is like
prepositional.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the whole idea is like the preposition on, there's like different types of prepositions. So like on is a stationary preposition, and then there's like movement prepositions like to. I'm going to this, like to where am I going, right? Or like to whom am I speaking? You know, and so you use whom because it's like directional. You wouldn't go to who am I speaking because who is subjective, or it's nominative, right? And so who belongs in the no, so who always belongs in the subject position. So like who is speaking, right?
Yeah.
Who is speaking? That's like who is the subject, is the, you know, is speaking is the verb, right?
Yeah.
And so when it's in a different position or when a different rule, you use whom. And then use whose for other things. That's like the
I screwed up
other
the
one.
usage of whose
WHOSE.
SE, yeah,
and
versus the
WHO apostrophe.
conjugative thing, yeah.
Who is versus
apostrophe
whose.
S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that confused for a while.
That's like affect and affect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever I don't know, stay up at night
Welcome
thinking
to
about
the
your,
grammar podcast.
Your
Yeah,
grammar.
the grammar cast. You ever just stay up late at night, you know, thinking about the stupid like conversational things you make?
No, because I almost immediately forget about the conversations that I have.
Oh, that's kind of
Like I was
sweet,
telling Dan, like even the episodes that we edit, I don't remember half the time even talking about those things until I have to go over them again. I'm like, oh well, that's the thing that happened.
Yeah,
Like this, I won't remember.
that's true.
Future me, you're gonna be listening to this now, and you'll be like, that happened. Yeah, there you go.
The conversational ones only haunt me in as much as they like are an active part of my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but as soon as I'm done or I'm doing something else, I forget about it. It's like when you mistake saying, "Oh, thanks, you too," when somebody hands you food. Like when somebody
Yeah.
serves you food, like "Have a great meal." Oh, you too.
You
Take
too.
work.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like, wait, you're not
to
even-
you channel our
Enjoy
Brian
your
Regan.
movie. You too. That's
That's me at the gym every fucking day. It's just like, "Oh, have a good workout." Oh, thanks, you too. There is one time, I think I was really tired or something, and I lost my wallet, and I went to go find it, and I went to go to the lost and found at the gym, and there was like, I was really tired, and I was trying to like, you know, see if my wallet was there. They had my wallet, and they bring it to me. And they go, "Hey, we just need you to verify that this is your wallet. Can you like tell me what your name is, write your name on, or like?" And so they said all these things. I look at my wallet and go, "Wallet," and that's it. And they go,
point at it.
I go, "Wallet," and they go, "Yes."
Yes.
That one I find very funny, but it sort of like comes back to me every once in a while.
Like it's just like a dumb little moment. That
Yeah,
you're
it's
like,
just so
can't believe that
stupid.
happened. Most of these haunting memories are pretty inconsequential in the grander themes of things of the grand scheme of
Yes.
things.
The grander's
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't matter. But I don't know, they just stick around so much. And it's like when we said, you know, most of the time people won't remember you for these things or give a shit, but they just are a thing that's unique to you that really stick in your mind for some reason.
I always think about when I make mistakes like this, that nobody cares that much about me to ruminate on my mistakes
Exactly.
that much. It's like that rule, like, you know, people are looking out more for themselves than they are to care, like anyone else, to care about the dumb mistakes you make. So like those moments where you ever do this shit where you're walking and somebody's walking in the same direction, you do that little awkward dance where you go,
Oh, you both move in
yeah,
the same
you both
direction.
move in the same direction.
Yeah.
Like that's happened to me so many fucking times, but I don't think anyone really thinks about it except for me, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't remember the face of the person that I did that to, unless it was like Jack Black or something.
Do you mean you wouldn't?
Sorry,
remember
sorry.
the face of that person?
The person
to
that I
whom,
did the dance with.
to whom you did that
Yes.
dance?
Uh-huh. Well,
With whom you did that dance?
yes.
Thank you.
Dan, do you have any?
Dude, we also gotta go into the not ending a sentence with a preposition grammar structure.
What do you mean? That's just, you don't do that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But people do that all the
So
time.
I have a little bit of a caveat with that.
Okay.
Because somebody made a statement that I read that said the whole basis of the evolution of language is that people will incorrectly use something that was written in stone until it becomes normalized, and then that becomes the new standard, right?
Ooh.
So if people fuck up the prepositions enough over time, which apparently we are, it will just become the new standard. So at what point will you believe, Sir Grammar Nazi, that it is an acceptable standard?
I don't think it's an acceptable standard,
Oh.
and I don't think that anyone else is going to make me believe it's an acceptable standard. Here's a counterexample. People use in the stead of should have and would have, should of and would of.
Okay, that one's just dumb because.
Okay, but why is that more dumb or less dumb than the prepositions one?
You are right.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
true. Good point.
Still grammatically incorrect.
I see.
And I think that's even less grammatically correct. I think that's just like stupid. There's really not any
Would of.
excuse. And for anybody listening to this who says and writes would of and should of, you're wrong. And you have a bone to pick with me. I will fight you about that.
He would have socked you in the face.
I would have socked you in the face if I could have done that.
Ooh, point proven.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the prepositions thing is just kind of like really pushy and a little posh and high-minded.
No, it's okay. I get really annoyed when people use the wrong there versus there.
I don't
and
understand
your
how that's
and
even.
your.
I don't understand how that's even a thing, except for like in circumstances where you're tired and you're just messing it up. Like I don't know if people do it all the time. You know,
yeah.
I don't see an excuse for that.
The funniest is when people try to use it in a micro example when they're trying to insult you, like in League when me and Dan are playing. Like if people are talking shit and they're like, "You're dumb," but they then use Y-O-U-R, and I'm like, "My what?
My dumb what?
My dumb what?" And then it just makes them more angry, which is kind of funny.
Well, that's why I've just shortened it whenever I'm typing to your. So
you
like,
are
you
like
are.
how we used to in RuneScape.
Yeah, just because then it's like nobody's going to be able to say your apostrophe E, right? Like nobody's going to give me that shit. Or you apostrophe R-E, right? So you're yeah. The real haunting moments are the ones that could have changed your life.
Like significantly?
Yeah, like what if I had taken this opportunity instead of this one? And you can like kind of lay out the path before you.
Yeah,
the problem being like there's really no use or no practical use for I guess regretting things like that.
Yeah.
Because like what are you going to do, just ruminate on it and feel like shit for a whole night?
Yeah.
And then what? You're still in the regular life you had.
You can't time travel and go back and experience that alternate timeline, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then the other thing about that is like without the decisions you had made nowadays, you couldn't enjoy some of the things that you currently enjoy.
That's also
You know,
true.
like for instance, if we would have done different things in the past, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation, right?
Yeah, we might not have just done a podcast at all if I didn't decide to hit play that one random drunken night.
Exactly. And it's kind of like those little moments play all together. And so I find that the moments that haunt me the most are always the ones that I really have I don't have any business regretting them or thinking about them. And so they're kind of easily easily fixed or ameliorated because of that.
But then you forget about them, right?
No.
You
That's
still
why that's the whole
remember 'em?
point. They're haunting.
Yeah. I just I think about them every once in a while. I go, and then that's it.
You just do a little shiver shake and you just,
Yeah. And then I go back
Holiday.
to, I distract myself with YouTube or some shit and then I'm fine.
yeah, pretty much.
And now it's time for Dan's Facts.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing. I was listening to Jordan Peterson, he's a psychologist, and he was saying that the purpose of memory is to remember things from your past so that you can try to fix them like when you're going into the future. I might be butchering it, but there's like a certain purpose of memory. That's why some things you forget really easily, and then some things that you remember because you're trying to almost ameliorate them for when you go into the future.
That's a really good
So
idea.
it's a defense
Like,
mechanism.
Kind of,
could
yeah.
be. I mean, there's a like
I gotta look it up just so I can get it better. But yeah, it's something along
Dan's
those lines.
facts.
Dan's facts. You don't want to screw up and look like an idiot.
Yes. I don't want to be haunted.
After I immortalize this on the internet, right?
Dang it.
I like the idea. I think that's definitely true in a lot of cases where your memory serves as a way for you to not make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
I think memory being one of those things that is so hard to pin down is random rule. When a verb has a preposition attached to it, you can end a sentence with that verb. To pin down is its own verb. Anyways, because memories are so hard to pin down in general, it's sort of like there could be so many reasons for having memories. But I do think that in this sense, it's important to take your memories and treat them as if you need to learn from them. And so like all the memories that really haunt you in this sort of way, good opportunities for you to like, I don't know, find a way around them.
Okay, yeah, let me say the quote. So people think that the purpose of memory is to remember the past, and that's not the purpose of memory. The purpose of memory is to extract out from the past lessons to structure the future.
Yeah.
That's like what you were just saying.
Yeah, that's like,
Okay.
yeah, exactly right. I think that definitely holds a lot of truth to it, and it's useful. It's practical information.
Yep.
Right. And also, like, I think it sort of speaks in some senses to like how trauma works as well. when people remember trauma and like they have traumatic
Like
experiences,
PTSD level.
yeah, like are
experiences?
triggering. It's like it's a really early sense of the brain trying to be like defending itself against it. Like it's the first defense against doing something horrible again that's lodged in your memory, right? And so I think in some sense it really reacts well with that type of observation as well.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of trauma and these things like that.
Man, I can't imagine having like actual PTSD, you know, to the point where it's crippling. Like those veterans who can't function during the 4th of July because the fireworks make them think of bombs and then they're just like cowering in fear.
Yeah.
Jeez.
War as hell.
Yeah. Another one that kind of haunts me a little bit was the car crash that I had when I totaled the first car that I had.
Regale us.
The first car that I owned that is now in pieces because I I got into the car crash. I sometimes think of that
JP
moment.
got in a car crash too.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah, I don't
Like
know
you
if I
totaled your car at some point?
the old Jeep.
Oh, wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that one in a second. What happened to you?
Mine was just basically like I still vividly remember the exact few seconds leading up to the impact.
Mhm.
So it's like I was making the left turn, and I still very explicitly remember me gasping because I knew what was going to happen in that next like quarter of a second.
Mhm.
Because I can think now, even just the view of me looking outside of the mirror, making the left turn and going, and then I remember the impact. Like I still remember the feeling of the impact and how.
Was it T-bone?
Yeah, pretty much. But I still remember, if I think about it hard enough, like how the impact felt like going through my body, kind of the airbag hitting me a little bit.
Ooh.
So if I think about it again, it's like, yeah, that's like a recurring thing. I don't think it was an event enough to shock me to like, oh, I don't want to drive cars anymore, because obviously I'm still fine with that. But it's like a thing that I can think about over and over again. And sometimes I'm like, wow, I could have maybe died there if that went a little bit worse. But I mean, the outcome of it was fine. Everybody involved we're all fine now. But yeah, that's like one of those moments that I'm like, wow. But there are people there who have experiences equal to or worse than that end up making those situations or situations similar to that just completely debilitating. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, not ridiculous in the sense where I think it's dumb. I'm saying ridiculous in the sense that it's so crazy that that's a thing that can actually happen, because it's just not something that you usually think of or experience, you know. That's wild. What about yours? What is your
I was in a
experience?
I was in a car crash maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I was driving a pretty heavy set car, so it was okay, but I just remembered I had that same exact moment where I was turning left and I saw the car coming and I went, oh shit. And it was one of those moments where I did think a lot about my entire life up until that moment.
So you had that life flashing before your eyes moment?
Sort of. It wasn't like a detailed depiction of everything, but I was kind of like, this is it. Like, it's going down. And I was angry about it too. I was just so enraged by the fact that this was the way it was going to happen. And I was like, 22 fucking years, and this is the way it go.
Oh,
and so, like,
you thought you were gonna die?
No, I thought I was gonna die.
Holy
and so,
crap. I didn't know.
Oh yeah, I thought it was over. And
wow.
But luckily, like I think the other driver hit a part of the car, and the car just absorbed all of it. And so I walked away like unscathed, and I was fine without like I was dizzy for the rest of the day, but that's nothing. That one doesn't affect me so much anymore, besides the gravity of the fact that I could have been dead. But like the one that really gets me is
when the cop pulled you over for jumping the curb by the 7-Eleven.
yeah, I wish.
He's a
you were in the
cops and curbs now.
Yeah, that's it.
And 7
Well, you had the big Jeep, so you were able to get over the curb.
I couldn't see, I was a new driver. I couldn't see the island, and so I just went up. Then
Did you have the sticker that said "Student driver, please be patient"? Maybe he would have given you a little more leeway.
I was too haughty to have anything like that in my car. No, the one that sticks with me is one time, I think a couple of years ago during Hurricane Michael, I had to travel to the American Southeast to do some piano playing. And we were like, I was expecting this like flight to get canceled because of the fucking hurricane. And for some reason it wasn't, which I learned is because hurricanes are a lot easier to navigate, because it's just like, I'll explain it later. Okay. But so we're going into this. I'm reading like 1984 by George Orwell, and I'm just immersed in it at the same time. I remember as soon as we started like moving, I think I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, I'm in a metal tube going straight into a hurricane. Like, I'm not ready to die like this. And that moment really haunts me. You know,
realization.
Yeah, just that moment of clarity of like, even before happening, where I was like this close to cracking and just needing to get off the plane and just being like, I'm not traveling on this. Like, take me back.
Your primal lizard brain was kicking in.
Yeah. My ape brain was coming out and being like, and I think it was worse too, because I was reading a book that had me immersed in a dystopian society.
Yeah.
Here's something funny too, which I don't know if it haunts me, but I think about it. I was really nervous. And I think I was trying to make small talk with the woman next to me because I was so nervous, and she really wasn't having it.
She's just like, "Fuck off!" I don't.
Yeah,
want
she
to
was.
pay
I tried saying something like harmless and innocuous, and she was like, and I was like, okay. I think the flight attendants had recognized that I was really nervous because, you know, those little like packs of cookies.
Yeah.
They like threw 4 or 5 at me. like, here,
you need this,
take
honey.
this. Yeah, just have it. You'll be fine.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, not for you, but
I mean,
that situation.
I'm here, right? I'm not
Yeah,
dead.
you're
So
not dead.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was returning from Washington on the flight, and then there was the thunderstorm. So it was pretty intense going through that thunderstorm. You
went
could
through a
look out the window.
thunderstorm?
Yeah, you could look out the window and see like
Like storm
lightning.
chaser level.
Yeah, it was
craziness.
legit like that. But it was a thunderstorm, so I'm sure the pilots are able to navigate through those pretty.
Here's my explanation, actually, because you bring this up. What I learned is that flying through or into a hurricane is generally preferable to flying into thunderstorms, because when you're flying through a hurricane, you think about what a hurricane is. It's just like a large mass of rotating air.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's just the air has layers, and you can fly horizontally through a layer without the air changing very much. And so basically, you can figure it out by flying through one layer of the hurricane. You can just fly straight through it.
Yeah, well, with this thunderstorm, we had a lot of turbulence. It was like
that's the thing, is because when you're dealing with thunderstorms, you're dealing with lots of up and down wind, not horizontal wind, and so that's what really.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
I bet it was.
It actually was. Yeah, there was a lot of shaking in the plane. I was
Like
like
when
okay,
like when the plane kind of drops a couple feet and you feel like your balls going
I was
into your
just
throat.
gonna say that. That's my least
I
favorite
hate
experience.
that feeling.
And that's why I don't think I should do that's why I don't think I can do roller coasters, because I hate that feeling of dropping.
I can do roller coasters. I can't do giant drops.
No, the giant drop is like masochistic.
Yeah, I mean, with roller coasters, you can kind of brace yourself so you can reduce the balls going into your throat a little bit. But with giant drops, that's just the entire ride.
That's the ride.
That's the fun of it, man.
I don't know, 2 to 5 seconds of your balls going up through your throat into your eye sockets, and that's it. You can't do anything about it. There's no horizontal movement to ease the tension a little bit. It's just straight down. Can't handle it.
Yeah, I've gotten a bit better at roller coasters in the past, I don't know, a few years.
Yeah.
The drops still get me, though. I don't like that feeling of weightlessness.
I don't know. I haven't been on a roller coaster in a couple of years, but I also used to be very afraid of them until my friends forced me to go. Well, they didn't really force me to, but it was like, everybody's going on it, and I don't want to be the only one standing outside of it.
Like
so I was like, shit, I just guess I have to go. But the first one I went on was the Raging Bull, which is probably pretty good one to get over your fear right away. So
yeah, that's like one of the more intense ones.
Yeah.
How is that any different from the wing challenge? Right? There's this sense of like you have to do it because you don't want to pussy out.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I also didn't have 5 to 10 other people in front of me go eating wings.
That's true.
And then I would be the only one sitting out. That's just a self-imposed challenge.
Okay, fair.
I'll still do it though. If you want a fun, actually, I don't think it's too expensive to get ghost peppers yourself. But I don't know.
Why don't we do this? How about you eat a ghost pepper while at the top of a roller coaster? You eat
and when
it.
Snaps a picture of me on the way down, I'm like crying tears and my face is all red. I can't see through it.
That would be a fucking trip. Is you do that? You'd probably die. Actually, I feel like your heart wouldn't take that.
Between the need to gasp for air because it's too hot, and also the need to gasp for air because the wind is getting knocked out of me from the roller coaster might suffocate.
That's like the supreme worst idea I've ever thought of.
It's an alternate to that roller coaster that will kill you with the G-forces.
The 7 loops. Yeah.
Was that a real thing? I thought that was. I don't know if it was real or if it was just like a conceptual.
No, it was a concept. Some guy won an award for it because it was it was crazy, but it was some sort of architectural or engineering conference.
Yeah.
He presented the. I think it was like the loops of death or something.
You know about that, right, Dan?
No.
Oh, it's basically this roller coaster that's designed in a way where, do you know what G-forces are?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's designed in a way so that there's so many G-forces on you that I think it, like they're lasting on you long enough to either like crush your organs or something, or like suffocate you somehow. But by the end of the ride, you're dead.
Yeah, what it is
Nice.
like it's a loop, and then each loop gets smaller by some degree.
Yeah.
And then by like the fourth or fifth loop, you're incapacitated, and then you've just lost brain to your blood, and you die,
Brain to your blood.
or blood to your brain, brain to my blood. That's what I'm experiencing
Yeah.
currently
Apparently.
Yeah. That'd
on
be
the treadmill at 12 degree
Yeah,
incline.
yeah. You've
with
been,
17 beers.
You've been running at 20 miles an hour this entire time. It's really impressive, honestly.
I've been training for this day for a long
What's
time.
even more impressive is that you have one of those really high tech.
Garbs.
You have a really high tech treadmill that doesn't make any sound. It's totally silent.
Cost me a lot. It's a Peloton.
Yeah. Oh.
The Peloton.
Yeah.
Let's go Peloton.
Good. Great.
Wonderful.
I have
Yeah.
another hunting memory that I think about every so often.
Share.
So I played recreational volleyball at U of I. And at the beginning of the year, obviously you have new people coming in because they want to check out the club, right? And so there was, within the first few weeks, there's a lot of new people coming in because that's when they're first seeing what it's like and if they want to stick around or not.
hmm
And I noticed this one day that there was a really cute girl. And I was like, oh, I wonder who that is. And so when in between matches, we were sitting on the side and just chit-chatting with all my friends. And so this girl is like in the court right in front of me. And my friend is to my right. And I turn to her and I go, oh, who's that girl? She's pretty cute. And then this guy to the left of me goes, oh, yeah, that's my girlfriend. I turn over to him and I go, nice. Congratulations. Good job, dude. And then I like give him a fist bump and then I get up and I walk away back to the gym. It was such a
You're
bad
like,
moment. I'm
"Whoa."
like, God damn it, I can't. Of all the times to do that specific thing, I was like,
That guy lived for that moment.
Yeah, man, he
Probably.
probably felt pretty good about
yeah.
it. So he's
I mean,
feeling
I
himself
gave him
after that
props
one.
and I played it off probably as well as I could have. But that's one of the things that I think about every so often. I go, well, probably bad timing, but whatever.
I would have done something to
Well,
assert dominance. Been like, you trying to hop sides,
Yeah,
buddy?
I'd be like, oh, your girlfriend. I'm sorry. This is my girlfriend.
You trying to switch hit right now, dude?
Oh,
I feel like there's lots of moments that maybe they don't haunt you, but you think about them.
And then you forget about them?
No, yeah, you think about them and then you forget about them.
How about
like
things that you can do to fix those memories?
You can't fix memories, Dan. This isn't
No,
freaking
like
Kingdom Hearts.
like what would you be able to do
prevent
for your
situations
future
like that?
Oh,
Oh,
to prevent preventative
all I can think of
actions.
is try to recognize a similar situation happening to you and then taking the other course of action that you didn't at the time.
Mm.
But that also comes with difficulty because you won't always recognize that exact situation is happening, I guess. I mean, in the context of the car crashes, since these are split second occurrences, it's not like I will be like, oh, don't take the left and just hit your brakes, because you kind of just go into autopilot mode at that time.
I'm definitely a lot more cautious with my
Left turns.
left turns.
Yeah, me
now.
too.
Like I won't take them if I feel that there's an inkling or of a chance that I might get hit.
Mhm.
Like car could be like a long ways away and I'm like too close.
That's probably why Michigan has those Michigan lefts. You can't make regular left turns in Michigan. You have to make like a weird UE and then go take a right instead or something like that. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's very strange. It's a
I've
common
never
occurrence.
heard of that.
Neither did I until I went there a couple weeks
Wait, so
ago.
explain a situation like that to me.
So say you're on a highway and you know how sometimes they have cutout sections where you can make a left?
Yeah,
You would have to make a U-turn and then make a right.
it sounds incredible.
Very strange and confusing. I
sounds-
wasn't the one
yeah,
driving, so
incredibly.
I'm probably
convoluted.
butchering this also, but look up the Michigan left and that's a thing.
As long as it's safer. Like-
Probably. I don't know. There's probably a reason why they did that.
yeah, I guess so.
There's also flashing yellow lights that I've seen. So it's not like, how you can do a left on the green light,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to yield to the opposing traffic.
Yeah.
With the yellow green light, that's the same thing as just a green light, but you're
Oh,
still
specifically for
it's
that.
specific
Mhm.
to yielding to the oncoming traffic as opposed to just relying it
Was that in a different
on your own
state? 'Cause
judgment. I've
I'm-
seen it in Illinois. I've seen it in
I'm
other
just
states too.
I'm a proponent for the green arrow all the time.
Same. They should
Right.
just do it everywhere.
Yeah, in fact, I basically take only routes that either give me green arrows or routes like in which it's easy to take a left. Like I drive a route from you caught that?
I mean, you can just learn to drive and then it'd be good. Okay, never mind.
No.
It's like
What do you
it's
mean?
pretty because that's just the general rule. You yield to the oncoming traffic.
No, I know that shit, but like,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, I generally will like curtail all of my routes so that the lefts are easy to make. Like, or I'm making right turns.
Oh, like you don't want one that goes across like 3 different lanes of traffic.
I'd rather minimize the amount of danger in which I put myself.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, I take a route from like where I teach to like Kelby's apartment once in a while, and the route that I use has like the most calm left turn that I can find, and so it gets me in like a good parking position, and the left turn is like really calm. It's not a busy intersection.
Yeah.
So, like that's the type of routes that I look for.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I kind of tweak out a little bit on left turns now since
Yeah,
the accident.
there's definitely some post-traumatic stuff going on. Because I know from when I was driving, like, my only accidents have come from the snow.
Oh, really?
So when I start drifting, I start losing control in the snow. Then I start getting a little tense, and I start feeling it.
Especially like with my car, it's like rear wheel drive. And
Yeah,
so like
the rear is awful for the snow.
Terrible. And so like when it snows even minimally, I have to go like way slower than I normally drive.
Have you guys ever felt like a bitterness on your tongue when you have a driving situation? You feel nervous, like there's like a bitterness on your tongue.
I don't think so. Maybe that's
I
a
felt that
common
before.
occurrence. I could look it up and see if that's
wonder if
like
it's
a
part of the
a
adrenaline
sign.
rush.
Yeah, maybe. Like it tastes like you're eating like a bitter food, like the same.
Yeah, like
same
bitterness
sensation.
on tongue. It's like an instant reaction too. Like if I'm feeling nervous.
Hey, wow,
and
that's
there's,
like the first thing is bitterness on tongue. Let's see. It says acid reflux.
no. Yeah.
Here, maybe I'll see bitterness on tongue.
When driving,
nervous.
It's like when nervous. It's not really when I'm nervous though. It's just like
There was one time when I was driving and I was trying to get someplace before the roads had been paved, or not paved, but rather like cleared of snow. And I was going through, the light turned yellow and I was trying to stop and I slid all the way through the light. And I was just like, this is happening. Like, I hope I don't get hit.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Well, it says stress and anxiety is a possible causation of the bitterness in the tongue, so that's probably what it is. Otherwise, you might be experiencing menopause, Dan.
Dan, are you ready to not have kids anymore?
Yeah.
Your eggs are dying.
Mm-hmm. Pine nut syndrome. Pine nut syndrome. What is this? In some people, eating pine nuts may cause a bitter or metallic taste in their mouth. Oh, I thought that was just like the name for some kind of medical disability. Pine nut.
Like
sorry, dude, you got pine nut.
It's like maple syrup pea. Have you heard of that?
No.
Peter told me about it.
It smells like maple syrup or something.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, it's
What?
really bad. Look it up. I want to see if he's
Maple
full of shit.
syrup. Well, it does come up.
There it is.
Maple syrup urine disease is an autosomal recessive metabolic disorder affecting branched chain amino acids. God, this is too many words for
Just
me.
tell us what it does. Tell us the mortality rate.
There's a mortality rate.
No, I think like with these memories, I think most of the time the ones that tend to haunt us the most are like the girls one is like I think a common thread with most guys. I think it just like I think because you think about it and you're like, oh, I was so dumb. But I also think that affects most people. It's like, oh, I should have known. Like, oh, I had no idea. I'm so oblivious. But I don't think signals are so easy to read, anyways. you know?
In the moment, like I said, it's hard to recognize when that thing is happening because hindsight's always 20/20, right?
But then you also don't want to be like too forward. Like
Yeah.
I understand that you don't want to be like putting yourself in a situation where to make someone else uncomfortable, right? That's at least how I felt about it. I was like, I always feel justified in my like feelings because it's just like, you know, if it was meant to be, it would have happened. But like also I'm better off not like placing myself in a situation that makes someone else uncomfortable.
Wise words from Love Guru JP.
Love guru, hardly. Yeah, I don't know. I think like the haunting memories is an interesting topic because there's so many types of them.
Yeah.
There's like the near death scenario ones that haunt you like trauma does.
Yeah.
Then there's like the missed opportunities that are life-changing moments ones. Then there's like the awkward, like embarrassing ones that we all remember.
I mean, thus far, all of the ones that we've been talking about were carried a negative connotation with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, doesn't haunting necessarily have to mean that it was a bad experience? I mean, you could have had.
Then you wouldn't say haunting. You'd say
Yeah,
like
that's
lasting.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, we're only going with the shitter here. We're not.
Yeah.
We don't have room for these good, fluffy memories. We're only talking about the hard, edgy Dark Lord things.
That's the only ones for which I have space in my head, you know, like
I don't know. I don't really have any other ones that I
Yeah.
can immediately think of, which will probably come to surface when I'm trying to go to sleep tonight.
I know
but
that's going to be the best part about this is all the content's going to be really later.
just make sure that when you're laying in bed tonight, you have a microphone nearby or your phone on record, and then you go, and then you just say what you're thinking, and then I'll just put it in post.
Yes.
Much like this one.
Yeah.
We have like a little space for it.
Uh-huh.
Now. Yeah, I don't have any more that I would be willing to share with you.
Yeah. Everything else is too embarrassing or private that we shouldn't put this on air.
Yeah, and that's gonna haunt me if I tell you.
Ooh.
I shouldn't have said that on the air.
Well, we will continue to haunt people with our podcast
Yes, it
Yeah,
still
for
happens.
the foreseeable future. You know what does? Okay, this isn't a haunting memory, but this is a thing that I still frequently think about. You know that common phrase: "As soon as you put something on the internet, it's there forever."
Yeah,
Well, when I think about us putting up these podcast episodes, our voices are, unless the servers that they're hosted on get deleted entirely somehow, we're just there forever, as far as we know. So I don't know if humans are still around in like 2,000 years and this stuff is archived. They will hear us at this exact moment.
Whoa.
All right. So we're haunting the people of the future.
Dang.
We're talking to you, 4040 dwellers.
Dang.
Well, that is if there's so much content that they're willing to go through it. And
Oh, yeah.
actually listen to us.
I don't know. Maybe we'd end up on one of those like archives. Somebody's doing like it's 3050. Somebody's doing all this research on like a millennia ago,
Yeah.
and they find this like collection of our podcast, and they go, "Whoa, check
Whoa.
this out!
Yeah.
This could be like an expose on the middle upper class 20 to 30-year-old male," and they do a whole thesis on us.
Their
Think
current
about
forms
that.
of entertainment are beyond our regular comprehension, but they go, "Oh, what is this thing that humans in 2020 used to do called podcasts?"
Podcasting.
Oh, they use things called tags to diversify and narrow down what they're looking up. Let's look up the tag losers, and then we come up, and it's just,
Let's go.
and they go, "Oh, how did they know that we would listen to this? What future gods are they worshiping? What sort of
What
powers did they
magic?"
attain?" Yeah, they might think that we're some sort of crazy advanced civilization that knew what was going to happen ahead of time, which we were apparently.
Ooh.
So
And which we are currently.
yeah, or our kids and future generations will be like, "Oh God, what a bunch of jags!
What a bunch of dweebos, like shooting podcasts is so lame.
Mm.
That's what I think. Just listen to ourselves freaking from one episode ago.
I love it.
Like,
It's
what are
like-
these losers doing?
I can't wait to be 70 and have this haunt my memories.
Yeah, right. Well, no, that's what I brought up in the beginning. That
Yeah, right, like-
listening to the last podcast, I was like, wow, I sound so immature. That's what I was thinking about coming into it, is that,
You just gotta own it.
oh,
man.
we're trying to own it, but then structure our memories for the future. So I was thinking,
I'm gonna show
what
this
can I
my
do to
kid,
sound
man.
more mature? So that's what I was thinking about. One thing is that I drink too much before getting on this podcast. I got to be a little bit less loaded before coming on the podcast.
Hey, you seem
Maybe
pretty
that might
fine right
help.
now.
That might help me out to sound more mature. It's all about maturity. So yeah, we're getting there.
This podcast is about hanging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
You don't have to.
We're
be
just
mature.
trying
We're getting blasted just when we're hanging. Such is life.
I mean, we literally threw people on the bus like a couple episodes ago. So I mean,
I gotta re-listen to that one.
All right. Well, that's all we can have. So if you want to,
what are you going for?
I don't
What
know.
was your intention with
Well,
that sentence?
we're gonna haunt you with our podcast if you consistently listen to this. So maybe you'll think about our conversations and then have this stuck in your head for who knows.
Yeah, it's time for me to get off the treadmill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And you've been running at 50 miles an hour. That's pretty. No.